Melo and LeBron, teammates on the NBA stage. Just one of the many moves the Lakers made this week. In addition to Melo, the Lakers added Dwight, Trevor Ariza, as well as an injection of youth in Malik Monk. Everyone really liked that signing. Kendrick Nunn. And, of course, L.A. picked up Russell Westbrook in a draft day trade last week. Among the additions for the Lakers are 6 players age 32 or older. That is actually a record for a single offseason. That's why we're all talking about it so much. And depending on how they fill out their roster, they could end up with the oldest team in NBA history. Mark, has adding Monk, Nunn, and bringing back Talen Horton-Tucker offset any of those age concerns that you might have had with the Lakers?
Outside of Marc Gasol, because I'm not sure what Mark's going to be doing after the Olympics, I'm not worried about this team. Age is nothing but a number. Look, I'm going to tell you, you showed those old Carmelo videos. He's in much better shape now than when he came to the Nuggets. I guarantee you that. So I think a lot of the guys that they added, outside of Westbrook, how much are they going to be playing? 10 to maybe 25 minutes a game? It's not like you're asking Melo to play 35 minutes a game anymore. So I don't know that their age will matter, but their experience certainly will matter. And then you got guys like Trevor and Russ coming home, and it's going to mean a lot to them to be playing in their backyard. I know there's all these memes and people are making fun of it. And I saw David Allen Greer had something hilarious about the age today, but age is nothing but a number for this team. I think they're going to be just fine. And the young guys are just some other pieces for the future.
Look, they traded 3 rotation players for Russell Westbrook. We don't know what's happening with Dennis Schroeder. Barely heard his name. And that Westbrook trade left them with very few tools to get players. They did the absolute best they could do with those tools. I'm actually shocked how many guys they got. They got some older veteran shooters, Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore. They got a two-way guy like Trevor Ariza who plays both ends pretty well. And then to your point, Rachel, the Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, retaining Talen Horton-Tucker. They got youth. Talen Horton-Tucker's a different kind of slasher player that they don't really have. Kendrick Nunn, 36% career from 3. Good secondary ball handler. The only negative, I think, is losing Alex Caruso because he's a solid player on both ends of the floor. That might have been a luxury tax thing. But to get those young guys, some veteran guys, I just think it's a home run given how few tools they had. My question now becomes, all these names, they look good, they shoot threes well. Who do you trust defensively to be on the floor late in a game in the conference finals, in the finals, against the very best offensive teams in the league? Is Wayne Ellington going to be out there? Is Kent Bazemore going to be out there? Is THT going to be ready? Malik Monk has no experience in big NBA games. That, to me, is now the biggest question about this Lakers team. But you know what? Every team faces questions. Every team in the West faces questions. 2 key teams, the Clippers and the Nuggets, are missing star players for some or maybe all of the season. Everyone's got questions. These answers the Lakers came up with after the Russ trade are the best possible answers they could have come up with.
Well, I got to look at Frank Vogel's track record on that last question, though, too, about the defense, because if you look at his first season as head coach, a bunch of the guys that they had on the roster going into that season, let's just be honest, their defensive numbers were not good at all. A lot of guys had sort of fallen off, had defensive reputations, but if you looked at their numbers for the previous season or two, it really looked like a soft point in their strategy. And Frank Vogel got in there, and he incentivized guys to play better team defense. LeBron, frankly, played better defense than we had seen him play in years. Once he started working with Frank, Anthony Davis bought in defensively, and those 2 players set a tone that trickled down to the rest of the players. And we took a look here on the jump of the numbers in the season or 2 before these guys all got together. Their defensive numbers were really lacking, and they had turned into one of the best defenses in the league. And this past season, they held on to that number 1 defense in the league, Mark, for quite some time. So I'm going to extend them the credit this time that even if some of those guys have not had the strongest defensive numbers coming in, that team culture could still be there. We'll have to see if it happens. Now, of course, with all of the former Lakers becoming Lakers again, we've had other former Lakers. Nick Young tweeted out that he wanted, don't forget about me, he said, he wanted to come. And I do think this is, of course, more of a joke. But I will say, when you talk about being stunned, Zach, that the Lakers were able to fill around the edges this way, I think this is the LA advantage, right, Mark, that we hear some of the other teams complain about, that they have such a sort of carrot here of, well, you're going to come play for the Lakers, you're going to live in Los Angeles. That'll make up for some of the money, right?
And you're going to play with LeBron. I mean, that's the big thing. LeBron, it should get If there's a GM of the year award that goes to Pelinka, LeBron should get some of that because I'm sure he's making calls. One, but he's the marquee draw. Him and Anthony Davis, so he could get the elite at the end of their careers to take these minimum deals and join forces with them, guys that want to win a championship. And to the rich goes the spoils. I mean, the Golden State Warriors were getting guys like this. Brooklyn is getting guys, this way. So that's typical for the big market teams that are successful. But the Lakers putting on that uniform, it's really, really special. And to do it with LeBron and knowing that they have a strong chance to be a championship team, if you're going to take a pay cut, that's the place to do it.
And it's not just LeBron as a player. We all know LeBron. If you're an outside shooter, he's gonna feed you good looks all the time. What does it mean for a young player like Malik Monk or Kendrick Nunn? It changes the entire perception of you when you're playing in the conference finals and the finals and you're making big shots. And these guys have an opportunity to do that. The whole world is watching. The whole league is watching. It's not a January game for the Charlotte Hornets. These guys have a chance and see a chance to change the way everybody feels about them, to give themselves an opportunity to play in moments they've never played in before. That's a big part of it, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they also, I would say, David Fizdale going there, you've had coaches, and I remember Brian Shaw saying this in the past, when you're assistant coach for the Lakers, it's better than, and Mike Brown has said this too, it's better than some head coach jobs in the league. So a guy like Fizdale coming there, it's certainly going to help him perhaps get a job next summer in the same way that it helped Jason Kidd.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.